So now it's time for the first Muppet Christmas special review. So, what's the first one we're going to review? Why not the first one that was made? John Denver and the Muppets, A Christmas Together. So, what's the plot of this special? Well, there's not really one. It's mostly John Denver and the Muppets. Christmas! Yay! But, well, it's mostly like a series of just little sketches. Sort of like a Muppet Show episode. Which is ironic seeing as how John Denver was already on the Muppet Show. Anyway, so there's a few musical numbers. So let's just get right to what's good, what's bad. Well, what's good about it? The opening scene, the 12 Days of Christmas, that is probably one of the funniest scenes in any of the Muppet Christmas specials. I won't spoil there's one part of it that is just so funny and is so Muppets that you will just crack up. But one thing I will talk about is that, of course, they give Miss Piggy the 5 golden rings, because, you know, it's the loudest and you draw it out, and it's to the point where she lets it ring so far, no pun intended, that she starts going, ba-dum-bum-bum, so that's really funny. What else is good? Them singing It's in Every One of Us. That's always a good song to hear the Muppets sing, even though it's mostly John Denver that sings. Something that I think is pretty interesting is this is a much more religious special. Not saying the other Muppet Christmas specials aren't religious, but this one is much more religious-y. Delves more into like telling the story of the birth of Jesus and that stuff, as opposed to like Christmas and gifts. I mean, they have that, but the further it gets, it seems like the more and more into it, the more and more about the religious-y part of Christmas comes out. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, and in fact it's pretty interesting. Makes it unique out of all the Muppet Christmas specials. Now, let's see, what else? It's funny. There's a really funny scene where it's Miss Piggy and John Denver, and Miss Piggy's trying to hit on John, and she tells him to take off his glasses. Well, he does, and no, you'll just have to see the rest of the scene. It's funny. Now, the bad, and have to see it as sort of a good segue, because this has never been released on video. Not on VHS, not on DVD, nothing. There's a soundtrack that's been released, and that's it. Which I think is odd, seeing as how the other John Denver special was released on all this stuff. But so if you want to see it, you'll either have to get it illegally or find it on YouTube. What else? It seems like this is more about John Denver later on than it is about the Muppets. He sort of takes over just the role, and you don't really see the Muppets as much. So that's interesting, I guess. I just wish they had more of the Muppets, but there is a lot of John Denver just by himself. What else? I mean, I don't see really many. It is sort of boring because there aren't many parts with the Muppets in them, so it can get a little boring if you're just wanting to see the Muppets instead of just John Denver. But if you wanna, what I'd recommend is, unless you really want to see the whole thing, go ahead and watch it. But if you don't want to, I just recommend you see the 12 Days of Christmas. Because that's really the funniest part, and it's ironic that it's the first thing they show, but it's the best part of it. So yeah, that's John Denver and the Muppets, A Christmas Together. I really don't watch it too often. I guess get the soundtrack. The soundtrack is very good. It's nice to listen to. So that's what I think of that.